Hello, hello. I hope everyone's been well. Thank you again, Sinister, for the hydrate. I took my sippies, but let me take some more again because I'm always happy to give you double. But I hope you've been well. Lou, already on the PC. Um, how have you been? How's your day? Tell me all about it because my day was just going to new offices because my job is testing some new marketing supplies, and they gave me four offices a visit, like for this special marketing. They only wanted to do like a limited amount, and two of the offices, within 30 minutes, great. The other two, 4 hours driving time away. My boss nipped that right in the bud. She was like, "Are you gonna pay for hotel? I'm not making like my girl drive 4 hours, like a total of 8 hours in one day." She's like, "Fuck no." Um, Lou, that's leave the mic alone. Um, so I did the last like close office today, and so because of that, I was like, "Oh, this is an area I've never been to." So I was just going to a bunch of new locations for work, and it was a busy day. I was out in the field for a while because everything was so new. I didn't know where the fuck anything was. But then I got to share some potato chips with Kai, so it's fine. It works. We are back today with more Sigh of the Abyss. We were romancing Marinee, and somehow we're romancing Sylus. So, it's fun. It's great. We're now finally able to help the farmers that are mysteriously dying of a weird disease involving blood. Because we finished helping the people of the Siren last time. So I'm excited to finally get to the mystery of these poor farmers. Because it's pretty fucked up what's happening to them, especially when it's only in like one region. So I'm excited to get down to the mystery. So let us continue. Ow, Lou. You're just going to hear me complain about Lou this whole stream. She's been extra needy lately, and I love it. But also, oh my god. It's like she thinks I'm about to disappear or something, and I'm like, are you sensing something I don't? I hope she's not one of those cats that like senses people's deaths or whatever, because like I have done nothing to warrant such clinginess. Makes me nervous. Are you trying to tell me something, Lou? She's like, I don't know the fuck you're talking about. All right. Ow. Okay. So, sorry. I keep saying I'm going to read, and then I don't, because my ADHD is ADHDing tonight. I can't focus on shit. Like, not at all. My attention span at negative 100. But, let's do this. Okay. So, the city bells ring the tune of a new day. Does the Lady of Dust truly not judge mortals at the end of their life? If the souls of the departed return to the abyss, the worthy never reap their heavenly reward, and the wicked are never punished in the hells. But what does the prodigal one have to do with it? Sylus and Marinee are waiting for you outside the gates. Good morning, says Marinee. Ready for day 2 of our wild goose chase? Asks Sylus. Since we don't have anything planned, I'd like to visit the Stitch and Seam, says Marinee. Careless is still waking up. The fragrant smell of bread makes Sylus turn her face. No breakfast today, miss? She asks. The kitchens didn't have any leftovers I could easily bring with me, responds Marinee. Aw. We can stop somewhere so you can eat. And that's why you're my favorite of the two. Marinee rolls her eyes, but follows her to a bakery. There's a small crowd eating outside, including a familiar face. Oh, says Renza. Oh, this lady. You know what? I was gonna say she's a weirdo, and she is. But you know what? More power to her. She's got skills. Why not utilize them? Renza is as bejeweled as the time you saw her in La Marina. Her eyes are transfixed on Marinee's belt. That's not good, says Sylus. Explain yourself, responds Marinee. The goldsmith we met at La Marina, the one that stole the brooch we needed, that's her, says Leatrice. The bespectacled woman? Asks Marinette. Marinette grins and looks at the small group. She does have taste. And thus, a staring contest of the sorts begins. Marinette's sharp eyes are on Renza, and the goldsmiths are dancing from earring to belt until she notices. She waves at your small group with an uncomfortable smile and stands up to leave. She would not steal from someone from the halls, says Marinette. She doesn't need to. Once she has a piece of jewelry she likes, she can replicate it, says Sylus. I like to see her try, responds Marinette. You stand to the side with Marinette while Sylus buys some bread. Thanks for waiting. You continue to the stitch and seam. The head seamstress waves merrily at your group from the doorstep. Was she waiting for you? Good morning, Miss Marinette, Miss Leatrice, and... Sylus. Right, and Miss Sylus. Your order is ready. I didn't buy anything, did I? Asked Sylus. I did, responds Marinette. You spot in the back Anilia's morning shawl. She is folding a long white dress. 2 sleeping gowns for Leatrice. Marinette, you shouldn't have. Anilia approaches you with a soft bundle in her arms. Here you are. The fabric that flows underneath your fingers is silky smooth. They must have cost a small fortune. Anilia, how have you been? Asked Sylus. The dark shawl really ages her. A bit better, responds Anilia. Oh, yeah, that was the wrong question to ask. Sorry. It's fine. So we got, you should do something fun every once in a while as a distraction. How long will you mourn your mother? Is it? Can we do anything for you? Obviously, can we do anything for you? What kind of question is that? How long do you plan on mourning? Like, do you have a time frame? Like, when are you going to stop wearing the shawl that ages you? What a question. Sometimes, here's the thing. I can't hurt people's feelings, even if they're pixelated. I know they're not real, but I'm like, I can't be rude. But some days I'm like, you know what? It would be really funny if I just chose all the asshole options in a dating sim, because I would fail miserably, probably. Unless it's a Starry and Baldur's Gate 3. But, but yes. Let's be nice, though. I can't, especially on my first playthrough. I don't believe so, responds Anilia. Are you free this evening? We could honor your mother with a small celebration, says Marinette. Where? At the Rose? It's not really the best place for that kind of thing. We can ask the minstrel to change his tunes for a minute, responds Marinette. I could ask him, says Leatrice. Anilia looks thrilled. I'd love to. After the quick detour, you spill back into the streets, aimless. When I said we should go from outhouse to outhouse, I was serious, by the way, says Sylus. Sylus? You can look for them on the way to Malik's shop, then, goes Marinette. Ladies forgive you if you don't spend a fortune every day, huh? It takes all of Marinette's restraint to ignore the barb. There are several outhouses on the way. One is being cleaned by some priests of the Prime, easy to recognize in their orange stoles and working robes. Bring forth the darkest hour. Drown the false sun in blood, says the Abyss, even when it keeps the city clean and running, when it feeds the poor, when it buries the dead. That was a deep sigh, says Marinette. I am conflicted, says Leatrice. Aren't we all? asks Marinette. She looks at Sylus. Save for those of us without the curse of critical thinking. Can you go 5 minutes without insulting me? asks Sylus. Also, I agree. What do you I mean, Sylus is not like in the clear here. Like, she also unnecessarily gives barbs to Marinette, but Marinette like starts a lot of it first, and I'm literally like, y'all can't fucking chill, huh? And I hate it too, because like Marinette has on more than one occasion said that she has been sheltered and she has never understood, like she hasn't had a lot of freedom outside the halls. And so she's learning, and she's open-minded. She cries, you know, for the dead, she gets angry over the homeless, like she gets angry at the power imbalance. But like, one, she doesn't really do anything about it, or that we are too much aware of. I mean, she did briefly mention it in that like weird hair combing, not weird, in that hair combing scene last stream. But like, she has no open-mindedness for Sylus. And it's crazy to me because, like, you don't know her story. You haven't even bothered to ask. Like, there's not a lot of opportunity in a fictional world like this for, like, always an honest living. Like, we don't know what happened to Sylus. Why she joined her, you know, gang? Is it a gang? I mean, they have, like, I mean, we joked it was a cult one time, but, like, I don't know. It just bothers me, which is kind of why I kind of switched from romancing Marinette, because it just, it feels very hypocritical, double standardy, and just, again, Sylus is not without fault. She has thrown barbs at Marinette, but, like, Sylus is also afraid of magic for some reason. Like, I think she does it to kind of protect herself, because she is, like, whenever Marinette has, like, done any sort of magic, Sylus actually kind of gets, like, terrified. Sylus is terrified of us, doesn't like our magic, so, like, I almost don't blame her, though you don't poke a bear. But, yeah. Whatever. Anyway, I had to get that off my chest. Because, I just wanted to like Marinette so much more, and I just don't see a lot of growth with her, which kills me. But then again, we're not that, I don't think we're that far into the game. I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out. But let us continue. It was not an insult, merely an observation. That was a fucking insult. Ahem. You keep searching. Some of those squalid outhouses are occupied, others are too decrepit to close properly, and rancid fumes hang in the air nearby. Suddenly, the shadows pull at the edge of your vision. They will all die, says the whispers. The usual whisper feels distant. Around the corner, you quicken your pace to chase it. Leatrice, where are you going? Asks Sylus. Squeeze for their sweat. When you think you have gained on the whisper, it pulls you farther. Prized like the donkey is. It's leading you somewhere, in the shade of the old city walls left to crumble. For its work, not for its being. Something dark stains the cobblestones of a shaded alley. A young man is sitting on the ground with his back against the wall. He died, squeezed for his sweat, prized like the donkey is, for its work, not for its being. Young man's head lolls forward, stretching his neck into an uncomfortable position. Dried blood paints his chin and jaw brown. We're gonna kneel next to him. The blood has dripped on his rough shirt, staining it all over. Death took away his dignity in the stench that surrounds him. Unbreathing, rigid, dead, says Leatrice. It's been some hours if he's so stiff, responds Sylus. Sylus whispers a quick prayer to Dusk before looking away. I cannot speak today. I'm too excited. I'm too ADHDing. I'm too neurospicy right now. You two stay here. I'll call the surgeon. Sylus runs off with purpose, leaving you gathered around the corpse. Marinette's glistening eyes are transfixed on the young man. Why is it that Sylus can look death in the eye and not weep like I do? My options are she must be used to it. You do not weep for those that slew themselves for me. I'll just say she must be used to it. How hardened must her heart be for death to lose its sacredness in her eyes? Asks Marinette. She hides her face in her hands and fights back the tears. You wrap your arm around her shoulders and cuff her hurt silently. Soft are the shadows that accompany mortals to the cradle and the grave. Those around the young man, however, still bear the franticness of fear. He was alone, terrified, forgotten. I am here. Your own shadow stretches to caress the agitated darkness around the body. You are not forgotten. It takes several minutes before Sylus arrives with a stretcher in her arms, and Lapo in tow. So young. He might not have tricked Dusk to live another day, but I bet the old hag welcomed him to the heavens with open arms, says Lapo. He too seemed unaffected by the tragedy in front of his eyes. Sylus, lay the stretcher down and come with help me. We can't carry him like this. We need to make him lie down. And you, what's your name? Leatrice? Make sure nobody comes to look. It's going to sound unpleasant. And take the mist with you. Lapo was courteous enough to warn you, but not to wait. He kneels by the young man's corpse and grabs his ankle. Oh! Grody! Okay. The sound of the surgeon breaking through the rigor mortis makes your skin crawl, and after a quick glance at the horrified Marinette, you leave the alley. That poor young man, stripped of his dignity and tainted in our memories, says Marinette. I never understood the rite of the Last Supper until now. The noises continue as Lapo breaks the young man's legs to carry him more easily. A few passerby quicken their pace, others look at you inquisitively. A surgeon is at work, says Leatrice. That is enough to make them pray to dusk and go their way. Done, says Lapo. When you look back into the alley, the young man's broken body is on the stretcher. Sylus is staring at the ground, lost in thought. We'll have to manage with 3 arms. I can help you carry him. Before he can protest, you take the handles at the back and slightly lift the stretcher. Lapo cocks an eyebrow but doesn't comment. With Sylus at the head of your grim procession, you head to his practice. Once the young man is on the table, Lapo looks at your group. I wouldn't stay if I were you. We weren't planning to, says Sylus. Good. Come back tomorrow. You are more than happy to leave the gruesome sight behind. Before I retire for the night, I will send a letter to Anilia and cancel our dinner plans, says Marinette. Without waiting for an answer, she walks away at a briskly pace. She's even more shaken up than after seeing the warden, says Sylus. What about you? asks Leatrice. I had to help him break the lad's bones. I am not fine. Open your... I'm gonna open my arms. Come here, babe. That is a horrible thing to say at a very sad moment. Anyway, Sylus is alive. She's warm, breathing. By wrapping your arms around her, you try to replace the grim images burned into your eyes with the very real, very tangible sensations she gives you. Are you cold or am I boiling? asks Sylus. Why do you think I keep the cloak on? asks Leatrice. You stay like that for a while. Thank you. You didn't even cry, said Leatrice. It wouldn't help anyone. She gives you one last squeeze before parting from you. I think I'll go to the Temple of Dusk, say a prayer or two for him. Wanna come? I'm gonna agree. The Temple of Dusk is a magnificent building wrapped in rich brooding drapes. The inside is quiet and somber, unlike the buzzing of dawn. I don't know any prayers, said Leatrice. That's fine. Just walk with the Lady of Dusk and tell her what you think. Oh, abyss that springs softly from decay, tell me. That young man was alone when he died. Was he scared? Did you comfort him? Did he cry? Whose name did he call? A single shadow wraps around your wrist and nestles itself in your hand. You blink and it disappears. You can't get the sound of the young man's leg breaking from your mind. No flight of fancy saves you from the image of his slumped body and the clumps of dried blood on his face. And the horror doesn't stop. Tomorrow, your blissful ignorance will shatter as Lapo shares with you what he learned after dissecting the body. You start your day wrapped in the soft sleeping gown Marinette gifted you. When you leave the guest house, you find your companions waiting for you. Sylus is picking the crumbs out of an empty basket, the sort Marinette usually brings. Leatrice, you're not hungry, are you? I got a bit carried away. My options are, I don't mind. What did you devour? It would have been nice to have a taste. Smile at her. I'm gonna smile. I'll save you some next time, I promise. The surgeon should be done with his examination. Perhaps he found something, said Marinette. He'll need help getting rid of the corpse as well, responds Sylus. Getting rid of. Truly. Let's not start a discussion now, says Leatrice. The market stalls propped against Autry's statue and the rest are a riot of soliciting and hollering. Several in the crowd sport straw hats, peasants from the countryside. He is going to die, says a whisper. The voice is once again distant. You search the crowd looking for its source. Squeeze for his sweat. The shadows part to reveal a figure, a man with a crate on his shoulder walking in your direction. Once your eyes fall on him, the whisper grows louder. He is going to die. A child is running circles around the peasant. They have the same eyes. Can we stop by the bridge? asks the child. We're already late, responds the father. Ma's going to be... Just as he's passing you, the peasant wheezes and a violent cough makes his body convulse, but you are ready. We're gonna grab the falling crate. Just as his grip loosens around the crate, you grab it. The child did not even notice it was falling on him. The raspy sound of the peasant's throat is strained, as if he's struggling to breathe. Pa? The man tries to say something, but bubbles of blood leave his mouth instead. Pa! We need to bring him to the surgeon. Quickly, says Marinette. To the surgeon? Responds Sylus. He's the only one we know who can help him. Leatrice, I'll help you. Marinette crouches on the ground in front of the child. Is that your father? Wrecked by tears, the small child nods. My friends can bring him to a surgeon. I'm sure he'll be able to help. The peasant's consciousness ebbs like wheat in the wind. You're not sure he can hear Marinette. I will wait here with you. She taps the crate. Someone needs to guard this, I can do it, responds the child. Good. She exchanges a glance with you, and you leave for Lapo's practice with Sylus and the peasant. You desperately knock on Lapo's door. What? Another violent cough makes blood drip from the peasant's mouth. Open, please. Someone needs your help, responds Leatrice. You hear Lapo struggle with the latch. He's still alive, but I don't know for how much longer, says Sylus. When the door finally opens, it takes him one look at the peasant's bloodied shirt to understand the gravity of the situation. Sylus, go get Nessa. She has the apothecary 2 streets over, next to the cobbler. Right. Lapo drags up a chair and helps you make the peasant sit on it. Will he survive? I bloody hope so, responds Lapo. Lapo's practice smells like death. A stained cloth conceals the corpse on the lying table. Will this man suffer the same fate? Clammy skin, cold sweats. His teeth are even chattering with this weather. He looked fine and then he collapsed. Look at his face. He was pretending to be fine. He grabs a cloth and wipes away the blood. Once he's done, he unfolds the fabric to study it. Look at this. I'm gonna look. Amid the fresh streaks of red are gelatinous clumps. When Lapo angles the cloth against light, you see the clumps are speckled with what looks like brown dust. There are flakes in there, says Leatrice. That shite is inside him, responds Lapo. When Sylus arrives, she is followed by a bonny woman in a threadbare black doublet. You didn't forget, did you? asks Lapo. I prepared it yesterday, responds Nessa. Nessa, the apothecary, must be a friend of his. She pulls a lean silver case from her belt. The inside is smeared with a gooey substance. You, keep him straight. I do as I am told. You walk behind the chair and make the peasant lean back against its frame. Lapo grabs the farmer's jaw and exposes his tongue. The theriac needs 20 more years of fermentation to reach its full potency, says Nessa. Even half fermented is better than nothing, responds Lapo. Together, they administer the concoction. You observe the peasant's reaction with bated breath. How do we know it's working, asks Sylus. The peasant releases the tension in his shoulders and inhales shakily. He's reacting well, responds Nessa. One dose is not enough to fix him, says Lapo. Nessa, come look at this. He approaches the table with the corpse concealed from sight with a cloth. Wait, before that, Sylus, miss, you two find something else to do for an hour or so. He doesn't have to tell you twice. Before you can uncover the dissected cadaver, you leave the practice with Sylus. Theriac, for a peasant! I thought only nobles could afford that stuff. The apothecary said it wasn't fully fermented yet, responds Leatrice. Sneaky, sneaky. Using it when she shouldn't, says Sylus. Nessa and Lapo were so focused on saving the man that they didn't give you much in terms of explanations. We should go back to the miss and the squirt. She doesn't strike me as one who can handle children. You find them in the shade. The child is sitting on the crate, and Marinette is silently watching over him. Where's Pa? asks the child. He's taking a rest. A surgeon and an apothecary are with him. He's fine. You have nothing worried about. He's safe. Let's just say we're doing everything we can, so we'll do that. A surgeon and an apothecary are with him, responds Leatrice. Is he that sick? asks the child. He'll manage. They're helping him, says Sylus. He just got a mouthful of theriac. That fixed him up real quick. Marinette's eyes burn with questions she dares not ask with the son present. Young man, your mother must be worried. Since we need to spend some time away from the practice, we can walk you home. But then Pa will be alone. Once we're back in the city, we can walk him home too. That seems to reassure him. Marinette's eyes fall on the crate. I can carry it, says Leatrice. Once you get a good grip, you raise it above your shoulder like you saw the man do. Wow, goes Sylus. So, where do you live, little guy? The child glares at her, and so does Marinette. It doesn't matter how far away it is. Lead the way, says Marinette. The child begins walking with you in tow. He guides you past the red drapes of the Temple of Dusk and through the western gates. Guards let you pass without issues, or so you think. Just as you reach the other side of the fortifications, you hear armored footsteps punctuated by a heavy sigh behind you. Oi, you're not up to any funny business, are you, missus? Asked the guard. Are we? Responds Marinette. The guard doesn't flinch. You tell me. We're escorting the child home. He's looking at the child. Perhaps he should answer. No funny business. Have a good day. What's the problem? I'm just going to say we're escorting the child home, because that is what we're doing. We're escorting the child home, says Leatrice. I can't carry that myself, says the child. He points at the crate. Silently, the guard studies his expression before relenting. Very well. The abyss within the guard's heart resonates with you. It had a fierce grip around his stomach, now released once he's convinced of your good intentions. You can pass. Beyond the city, the dirt road is flanked by grass. The smell of manure mixes with the fragrance of wheat and the verdant notes of onion leaves. You see the grapevines in a field, still empty of fruit. Can you tell me how far it is, Squirt? Asks Sylus. His name is not Squirt, responds Marinette. I'm Michelle. Michelle's house belongs to a tiny village at the foot of a hill, with a well, a mill, and not much else. His mother is agitated when she sees you and Marinette, but Sylus sweeps in to explain the situation. The woman bears a striking resemblance to her son. Not once did she ask about her husband. Damn. Nearby, you exchange a quick word with Marinette. I understand the impression you dislike children, said Leatrice. Only when they're noisy, responds Marinette. The crate, it turns out, contains food and bed sheets. You were quick to act when the child was in peril. Marinette leans forward and holds your gaze, almost as if you knew what was about to happen. Have I told you yet that I am in awe of how extraordinary you are? Your raw magic is a root that pierces the soil out of sheer will. A smile plays on her lips. May it burrow in the ground and flourish. How poetic. My words pale in comparison to... Her eyes soften ever so slightly. To you. Fuck. Sorry, Marinette. I know I was like flirty flirt with you, but like... Sylus, Sylus maybe stealing my heart. Rip. This is awkward. Sylus returns to you in a sour mood. Ugh, she was talking my ear off about how they can't afford to get sick and blah, blah, blah. And instead of being sympathetic, you did what? Asked Marinette. I told her to save her whining for the ladies. Just like we should save our breath to keep our pace brisk. Lapo and the apothecary should be done, says Leatrice. The practice isn't as quiet as it usually is. On the doorstep, Lapo is talking with a priest of dusk. Don't make it a habit, says the priest. You recognize him. He was in La Marina when you went there for Renza. He bears a scar on his lips that's identical to Sylus's, but mirrored. A quick glance at your friend confirms her displeasure in seeing him. Lapo and the priest make way to let a stretcher pass. The body carried on it is concealed by a deep red cloth, the same color as the priest's stoles. Sylus draws the symbol of dusk in the air once they pass you. Took you long enough to come back, said Lapo. Was that the young man of yesterday? Yes, dust be with him in the afterlife. What about the other guy we brought in? How is he doing, asked Sylus. He's resting in the back. Nessa's keeping an eye on him. The surgeon appears to be in a good mood for once. Come inside. A strong herbal scent hits your nose as you enter, much more pleasant than the stench of death. Nessa, they're back. A chair scrapes against the floor, and Nessa walks out from behind the drape. Keep your voice down, said Nessa. After scolding him, her eyes fall on you. Right, straight to the point. Yesterday, I cut up the lad you brought me. Dusk watched over him. His insides are unlike any I have ever seen. I'm gonna keep listening. Since it's a coughing disease, I started with his lungs, but they were fine. His trachea had some strange... What's a trachea? Sylus... Oh my god, dang it! Sylus interrupts. He glares at her. Strange black coating around the epiglottis, so I changed course and inspected his esophagus. That and his stomach were ruined by that stuff. Time out for a sec. I honestly, at this point, should keep a track record. I should make a... I mean, I feel like it's too late in the game, but If I'm having trouble, like, with a character's name, I should just, like, have a counter for how many times I mess up Sylus's name. Because for some reason, I can't get the pronunciation right because I'm so used to Sylus, spelled exactly the same from Love and Deep Space. I can't. Hold on. Well, let me... And you know, the reason I can't forget freaking Sylus is because of this sound. Hold on. I want to play this. Is it this one?
Don't pretend you didn't hear me.
Didn't I do a different sound for him? I guess not. Anyway, I mean, I still like that one. He's right. See, he gets me fucked up. I can't. Anyway, that was my 1 bits play for the evening. Your free bit soundbite. Lapo continues. Do you remember this morning that the fresh blood of that one sleeping over there had dust in it? It's the same substance, responds Nessa. And it's not produced by the body. It must come from something they eat or drink. It's not a disease after all, responds Marinette. Could it be a poison? Possibly, responds Nessa. I've never seen something like this before. They all come from the same area, said Mattia. That's correct. They all come from the lands of House Rizzo. Do they? We just walked the child of that one over their home. I did not read that right. We just walked the child of that one over their home. That's a weird sentence in general. He lived an hour away on foot. The Rizzos own a land a day away from here. Lapo mumbles a curse under his breath. I knew it was too easy. Well, it's out of my hands now. Nessa is much more of an expert on poisons and their cures. The farmer in the back wheezes. Nessa and Lapo exchange a look. Then she hands him the silver case, the one containing the theriac. Can you get your hands on some fully fermented? Asks Lapo. They disappear behind the drape for a moment. I hope we can save these people. Is someone behind this or is it an accident? Can't we go to the hinterlands already? Look at what they're doing. Let's hope we can save these people. Yeah, it looks like a horrible way to die, responds Sylus. No, that's dysentery. Ugh, goes Marinette. They return with the empty case of theriac. Nessa, you take it from here. I'll stay with this poor sod until the theriac takes effect. Close the door when you leave. Nessa walks with you outside of the practice. The vials on her belt clink like bones. A moment, if I may, asks Nessa. Gladly, I don't believe we've been properly introduced, says Marinette. The surgeon had better things to do than care about manners, responds Sylus. He wasn't always like this, you know. But we shouldn't talk about him right outside his door, says Nessa. You're damn right you shouldn't, goes Lapo. Lapo makes a show of locking the door. Nessa nods towards the street that runs from the rest to the distant gates. I run a small shop 2 streets over. Let's talk there. You follow her. People seem to recognize Nessa and nod or smile to her. I am Nessa, known by most as an apothecary. Sylus, Marinette of the Halls. Among my many titles, I am Indagatrix Emerita and Third of the Council. I am Leatrice. The innocence of Nessa's smile is marred by the shadows that pool around her sunken eyes. Something is off. The back door of a squat building covered in ivy leads you inside her apothecary shop. Bundles of herbs are hanging from the ceiling, left to dry over her working table. The smell is rich and warm. A sea of bottles is arranged from the shelves. A glass cabinet holds an elaborate jar with a date embossed on it, 20 years in the past. Nice place you have here. Are you not going to open your shop? Why the secrecy? Was the shop closed while you're gone? We're just going to compliment the place. Let's be nice. Nice place you have here, says Leatrice. Thank you. Nessa unsheaths her knife on her belt ever so slightly. Sylus does the same. She pulls out the blade and points it at Nessa, shielding you from her. Put that away. Nessa ignores her. She runs her thumb on her blade and sheaths it back. 2 lines are traced in blood over her eyes. I knew it, says Nessa. The abyss makes them gleam with power so faint you feel it instead of seeing it. The envoy in the flesh. Shadows dance on her face almost excitedly, beckoning you closer. Who are you, really? I told you who I am. I am Nessa, nothing more and nothing less. You, however, you carry within yourself the mysteries of the abyss. Are you delusional? No, she doesn't, says Sylus. Nessa, Sister N, says Marinette. Marinette smiles as sweet as it is wicked. The departed brother V sends his regards through me. Of course, of the coven that slew itself for you, more remains, led by Sister N. Is this some weird magic thing? Why is the warden not coming? Asks Sylus. Nessa wipes the blood away from her eyelids. You see goosebumps on her bare arms. The warden has no say over magic that is not of the halls, responds Nessa. He never came when you used your powers, and what are those if not magic after all? What is this abyss you mentioned? Asks Sylus. Nessa redirects the question to you with her gaze. All eyes are on you. You can't afford to lose Sylus to the truth, so you lie with measured words. I don't know what Nessa is talking about. Alright, time out. Just like we're lying to our future girlfriend, to our future wife, to the love of our life, and I hate it. Hate it. The fact that we can't even avoid it, and the fact that Sylus is never going to accept us. Like, I don't see how we're going to have a happy ending. Like, it's going to be interesting. I have a feeling I'm leading myself down a rabbit hole of heartbreak, but we'll see. The apothecary's gaze hardens. More than anyone, she would understand your need for secrecy. The fib is enough to make Sylus lower her dagger, but not unsheath it. You're full of shite, apothecary. Believe whatever makes you feel better, responds Nessa. With Sylus present, you cannot talk freely. We're done here, right? Asks Sylus. Yes, return in a few days. They should be enough for me to figure out what's poisoning the peasants. Before she leaves, Marinette takes an envelope from the fold on her breast. It bears a shimmery seal. Locking eyes with Nessa, she places it on her table and follows you outside. Only now does Sylus sheathe her weapon once more. Leatrice and I will retire for the day, says Marinette. Since when do you speak for her? Asks Sylus. I'm gonna lie, I'm quite tired after walking to Miss Shay's house. I thought you'd be used to walking by now, responds Sylus. It's harder when the road isn't paved. In that case, I'm off. We're not doing anything special tomorrow, right? We are condemned to wait, responds Marinette. You exchange a glance with Marinette and part ways. Sylus, make sure you don't return to Nessa's shop before leaving as well. See, Sylus knows we're fucking liars. I'm lying to my girlfriend. Hate it. Good thing there's no hell, though. Only the abyss. I can't burn in hell for my lies here. It is an interesting concept. The fact that normally you feel a sense of, I guess, peace, knowing that if someone isn't punished for their wickedness in the life and living, they are done so in death. But in this case, in this idea of the abyss, or not necessarily an idea, we know the abyss is real. There is no continuation of an afterlife. Your soul is consumed either by an envoy or by the abyss itself. So, interesting concept that there is essentially no afterlife. I don't know how I'd feel about that if that was like a legit thing. But then again, it seems like reincarnation is a possibility. So, like, is the soul, like, once reconsumed, just recycled out? Is the universe just one blob of a giant soul that just splits itself off? Interesting concept. Anyway. You cross through the gates of the refrain with purpose, heading upstairs to your quarters. A sealed letter should be waiting for you there. Just as you're ascending the main staircase, blue mist clouds your vision. The heavy scent of flowers dazes you for a moment. When you open your eyes, Marinette and Nessa are already in the foyer, summoned there by the wondrous spell of the letter. I was never fond of Brother V's magic, said Nessa. Nessa leans against the wall to regain her balance. I can't believe he passed it off as his own, said Marinette. He hurried down the stairs to join them. I suspected you want to resume our talk, Marinette. I didn't want that cur to overhear us, not after having a preview of what her reaction would be. Face to face with Nessa, you can't help but notice how willowy she is, how pale. Her thin lips curve in a mirthful smile. They succeeded. They blessed Carelise with an envoy. In death they are exalted, and by you devoured, the harbinger of the darkest hour. Don't you feel sorry for your loss? You say that with a smile. You don't see me in mourning. I should extend to you my condolences. Don't you feel sorry for your loss? I'm going to ask that. Not at all, responds Nessa. They might have lost their bodies, but their souls still swell in you. Ew. Why did you not get in touch with me before? Asked Leatrice. Our aim was to summon you into this world. The dead guide you as the living rebuild. Of course, their voices cannot aid you in the matters of the world. That's why Brother V ensured you'd have a companion in the flesh. She nods towards Marinette. Did one of your people hire Sylus? Much like myself, she has been tasked with protecting Leatrice. It's possible, but I wouldn't know who her patron could be. How many of you are left? Half a dozen, responds Nessa. And does your coven have a name? Asks Marinette. We change names like a snake shed its skin. To know our name is to be initiated into our mysteries, responds Nessa. You mentioned the darkest hour. I don't imagine you happen to know what it entails. The abyss has long enticed us with its promise of upheaval, says Nessa. Once the darkest hour eclipses the city, we will discard our ciphers and secrets to worship the abyss openly. That is all I know. She curtsies to you. Consider me and the others at your service. You must want something from me in exchange. She smiles. I would have begged you to look into death by blood, but it seems you already are. A testament to your greatness. I do have a small request. Could I see her one last time? My apprentice? I believe she is the one that led you to me. Summoned by Nessa's longing words, the whispers come back. They will die. They will all die, squeezed for their sweat, prized like the donkey is, for its work, not for its being. All I need is some of your blood, said Nessa. I'll agree. Marinette approves. Nessa unsheathes her knife and slices her palm. She then offers the bloody blade to you. Gross. Give me your hand. The weapon is so sharp that a painless graze is enough to draw blood. The shadows lap at your wound, and your hands join. As your hands join and your life essences come together. Like a roaring flame, power surges within you and makes your hand burn. I see them, says Nessa. You see them too. Shadowy figures whose features you cannot discern dance around you. This magic is too much for Nessa. Pain, she releases her hand and collapses against the wall out of breath. I don't have the aptitude to withstand such power. You wielded magic before, said Marinette. Not to this extent. It taxes too much. Her hand is still bleeding. Among us all, only Brother V could harness it, and it shattered his mind. The abyss is not the sterile perversion of the halls and their aether. True magic lies in dirt. Teach me. I am not a fool like my mentor. I won't let it consume me, says Marinette. Instead of answering, Nessa laughs. Are you mocking me? I'm surprised it took you so long to ask, responds Nessa. Marinette, are you sure about this? Of course. This is magic that cannot be perceived by the warden. How could I refuse it? Come with me then. Back to the shop, says Nessa. I need a treat. She lifts her bloody palm. The wound is still open. This. Yours has long healed. Farewell, says Leatrice. Come visit me in a couple of days. Before leaving, Marinette walks closer to clutch her hands in hers. Dimples appear on her cheeks as a bright smile unlike you have ever seen before graces you. I'll be going as well, my friend. Take care. Alright, pre-K pause. This is such a dangerous road for Marinette to go down. I'm literally looking at her like bold words to state that you are not going to be a fool like your mentor. I don't like where this is going. I don't trust Marinette for shit anymore. Like, ugh, girl. Romancing her would hurt too, I bet, if I had committed to her fully. Anyway, you return to your quarters and decide to pass the time with one of the books lying in your reading desk. Sudden knocking on yours startles you.
Just a moment.
You don't expect any guests or letters. After adjusting your clothes, you open the door.
Good evening.
Scadio! God, I want to date everyone. Good evening to you.
Good evening to you.
Oh, I forgot that this is voiced.
Would you care to join me at the belfry?
I'm gonna accept.
Most excellent.
The carpeted floor softens your steps. He unlocks the door at the end of the hallway, and the smell of summer night fills your nose. Dude likes to live dangerously. I'd be freaking out if I was that high up and on the ledge. But then again, I wouldn't go there in the first place. The sea of rooftops is as stunning as you remember it. He takes his place on the railing, and a spark of magic from his fingers lights the belfry.
Such a precarious place you choose to sit on.
His head reclines against the wall.
It's not precarious unless you make it so.
You look over. The church is lit by braziers to the main streets lined with oil lamps, and on the other side of the canal to the buildings whose decrepit walls are concealed by darkness. The stark difference doesn't detract from the beauty of the view.
Will you humor me today as well?
Of course.
All I seek is your answer to this. What is it that the human beast covets most?
Interesting that it calls humans beasts. He has no positivity for humanity. What if my answer does not match your
You
expectation?
won't know until you tell me.
What is it that mortals covet the most? I'm gonna be obvious. Hold on. We got the options of love. There's a little rhyme or reason to what people crave. People need to feel in control. They need power to do that. Everybody's afraid of not mattering. We want to leave a mark in the world. I'm gonna say love because I'm a cheese ball.
It's love. Be it safe like that of a parent, or comforting like that of a friend, or scorching like a lover's passionate embrace.
He looks at the sprawling city.
And what happens when that is lost?
Scadio, stop.
What do you mean?
What happens when you can't feel it anymore?
Aww.
I'm sure someone could rekindle it. Someone new, perhaps.
Hint, hint, me. Actually, not me. The option to be poly is not available. So it can't be me this playthrough.
How brazen, yet insightful.
What would your answer be? The question stays the same.
I think it would be similar to yours. People crave love. I am no different.
You said you could not feel it anymore.
I remember it. When I close my eyes, I see countless details forever branded in my mind by love. I hear their voices,
The moonlight reveals the tears running down his cheeks. The memories of his wife and daughter come back to haunt him once more.
I have nothing of them left.
Silence falls between you. Hey, cat lady, how are you? How have you been? Give me all the details. I have missed you. I hope you've been well. I don't know if you celebrate Thanksgiving. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. I'm just talking with a very sad man right now. Name is Scadio, who I'm not romancing. But yes, we're doing a very dark visual novel romance. And we are currently trying to figure out the mysterious, horrific deaths happening to farmers. Well, not this exact second, but that's the plan. I was sick last week, but it wasn't as bad as last time. Okay, I'm glad I hope you're feeling better. I'm sorry you were sick. I always talk with sad vanilla. You know what? Same. I don't know if it's me that attracts them, but I tend to attract a lot of sad men in my life, and it's interesting. I think that's the Cancer in me. The what's it called? The empath in me. So it's probably what it is. But the backstory is Ascanio was married. He had a daughter. They both passed away. We don't know how or why. And we're friends. We're staying friends only because I'm romancing this beautiful woman named Sylus, who maybe you'll see, but I work in food, so many customers want to trim or dump on me, and I'm like, oh my god, same. I used to, when I worked in hotels, I worked at the front desk, and I would hear some of the best, like, highlights of people's lives. Like, I've heard some funny, good stories, but a majority of the time people talk to me, it's the saddest, most realest shit, and I can't disappear anywhere. It's me behind a desk, and there's nothing else. Like, there's no back office to sneak into, because I have to be out front for anyone that has to check in. I know, right? It'll be $12.63. I know, same. It'd be literally like they're checking in and they're telling me their horrible story, and I'm literally like, what card will you be using for incidentals? Or if I booking a reservation and they're telling me why they're booking it, and it's like, oh, I'm going on a trip because my husband cheated on me, or like, booking a room for the mistress because we get a lot of infidelities in hotels, and I'm just like, cool. So like the 26th, right? That you want that day through the 28th for that long?
Bruh.
Yeah, exactly. Like, bruh. I was like, okay. I am so glad I don't work in hotels anymore. Like, I mean, I'm not like a healthcare professional, but I work with healthcare professionals, and sometimes I still hear like shitty stories or sad stories, but like not as often and not as much, because like the healthcare professionals that I like talk to for my job, like, they're working. We keep it to, here's an update from my company to yours, here are resource papers, and they're like, awesome, have a good day. I'm like, cool. So yeah, I'm very glad I have my current job and I don't work in hotels, because it's really weird what people feel comfortable sharing with you, with as a customer service person. So I feel bad for you, cat lady. I'm so sorry you still have to go through that. Hopefully come New Year, we're all, guys, we're already, next week is Christmas. We're already so close to New Year's. Maybe have the New Year be filled with happier people, or at least people that are less comfortable with sharing their personal stories, because you have friends in therapy for that. But I was gonna say something else and I forgot. They're always telling me I'm so nice. I'm just like, I have to be nice or else I get fired. I know, right? And like, you work in food, so like, I'm assuming you get tips. Your tips depend on it. Like, what do you mean? So weird. It's like the same energy as like when you're working on a holiday and people are like, oh my god, I can't believe you have to work today. That's so mean of them. And you're just standing there like, because you're here. I have to work because you are coming out on said holiday to do said activity. Like, you can't be like that's like a BS thing to say to someone. It's a pet peeve of mine. Like, I'm never gonna be like, dang man, that sucks they got you working, to the worker on said holiday. Like, that's so out of touch with reality and rude. You occasionally do? Okay. But, yeah. People in general just gotta be nicer and more common sense, realistic with customer service people, because it's entrapment at that point. We're only closed on Christmas. Yeah, that sucks. I luckily have Christmas Day off. I don't have Christmas Eve off, so I have to work Christmas Eve, which would be fun. I'm still figuring out what I'm gonna do because, like, so I travel to doctor's offices, and I know a majority of the ones near me are gonna be closed. So I'm like, how am I gonna do my shifts that day? Get my required number of stops in. I'm gonna definitely have to start calling some doctor's offices and like be like, I'm gonna do a route I normally don't do because I definitely won't be able to get to everyone. You still work most holidays? Yeah, I used to work every holiday when I worked in hotels, willingly. When I worked in hotels, I still lived with family, and I love my family, but I needed space from them, and I wanted to avoid most of the holiday stress. So I would always volunteer to work the 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Christmas Day shift. Christmas Eve, I would offer to work the 3 p.m. to 11. And then Thanksgiving, I'd offer to work. I honestly didn't mind working holidays. I wish I had more weekends off, but that's when, you know, most hotels are busy, unless it's like a business hotel. But yeah, gotta pay the bill yeah, exactly. You gotta pay the bill somehow. And honestly, sometimes the guests were nice. I one time had these guests that were frequent visitors. They loved me. They got me a Christmas present. It wasn't anything crazy. It was like some fuzzy socks and like a hot chocolate mix and whatnot, and I was very grateful. So sometimes I get some really nice guests. But I also always would go above and beyond for them because they were my favorites. Yes, I had favorites and I played favorites. But yeah, I also would work my birthday. I don't do that anymore. I always make sure if my birthday is during a work week day, I take my birthday off. I don't play that anymore. This year, though, this upcoming year, my birthday is I think on a Saturday, so I don't have to worry about taking the time off. But that is a far ways away because that is summer, and I hope that doesn't come too fast because the time is going by way too quickly. I need the world to like slow down. But I think I also have to work New Year's Eve too. I think New Year's Day is on a weekend too, right? The holidays are on weird days this year. It's crazy. I think next year they're gonna be weird too. Okay, we got ads coming up in like 8 minutes. Let's see if we can make this sad man a little less sad. Countless stars glitter in the sky and bathe the distant sea in cold light.
When Marinette brought to my attention an old arrangement with her mentor, she said that the guest we were meant to host would be extraordinary.
That's me! He turns towards you.
Was she right?
Alright, my options are, she said that about me. She might have embellished my credentials a bit. She was. I never blah, 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 blah. I can't read. I never claimed to be extraordinary. Okay, so Marinette, I was trying to romance her first. I know a way to make him less sad. I'm already in a love triangle, cat lady, that I fucked up. So I was trying. So Marinette, the woman that he's mentioning, I was trying to romance her first. But then she started giving me weird vibes, and I was not playing. So I was like, all right, I'm going to switch to Sylus, because Sylus kind of got me, and I like her. But Ascanio is like, I do kind of like, so I have the toxic trait. I don't do this in real life, because I don't have time to fuck with that. But, like, in like, games, I always do have the, like, I can fix him type gene. So that's what I want to do. And then there's another love interest who you haven't seen or heard of, Alpheon. I'm romancing him in a private playthrough. But I'm just like, Ascanio, I want to do you so badly, but I can't. I'm already have Marinette and Sylus in love with me right now, and I don't know how to get out of this love triangle. I'm so fucked. I literally, last stream, I literally just kept saying, I'm an asshole. I'm such a dick. Because there's no clear way to turn down advances once they start. So, we're just gonna continue in this love triangle. Do it, threesome, lol. So the problem is, Cat Lady, Marinette and Sylus hate each other. Hated each other to the point where at first I was like, you know what, those two should date. Because I thought, oh, cute, you know, enemies to lovers. But they're just plain mean to each other, so I no longer think that. Otherwise, it would have been a really great throuple. But Marinette and Sylus, like, downright despise each other's existence. So that will never happen. Sad. Otherwise, heck yeah. There's no poly in this game too, which is also sad. I just want to date everyone, and I want everyone to be in love with me, and I can be in love with all of them, and it would be great. But no. I don't get that. Anyway. I'm planning on playing Assassin's Creed tomorrow since I'm feeling better than last week. Oh, what time? Depending on what time, might be able to watch. I have a weird split day tomorrow. I would love to if I can join. I will definitely join if it's like in the pocket of time that I have. I don't like Assassin's Creed 2. Nice. I've actually never played Assassin's Creed. I've watched other people play it. I don't think the full game. I always thought about playing it myself, but I feel very daunted at like starting that series. I don't know if you've ever played Cat Lady. I am gonna start The Witcher from the beginning. I've never played The Witcher series because of the Game Awards. You got the Ezio collection? Ooh, nice. I hope you enjoy it. I don't know if you've played Assassin's Creed before, but I hope you have fun. I'll definitely watch if I can. I'll keep an eye on your thing, your notification. But I am, because of the Game Awards announcing the Witcher 4 trailer, which looked amazing, I am now going to start the Witcher series from the beginning. So I know I'm abandoning my, I'm gonna snooze ads again because we're having a good combo. I am abandoning my Dragon Age The Veilguard second playthrough because I feel like I need a break from it. Like, it's a fun game, but it's not my favorite Dragon Age, so it's... And we're on, like, the part where we're just on the grindy kind of section, so I was just like, I'm gonna pass. I want to try something brand new. You played the first one on your 360? Oh my god. Throwback to the Xbox 360. I did buy them all on Steam. They were on sale. The bundle was like $11 for all 3 games. And I know people, I asked people, and a lot of them said I didn't even need to play the first 2, that I just had to play 3 to prepare for 4. But I was like, I like knowing all the backstory and the lore and not missing anything, so we're gonna start with 1. The only thing is I haven't decided if I'm gonna start, so because next week is Christmas, obviously I'm not streaming on Christmas Day, that's a Wednesday anyway. But I'm like, I'm planning on still streaming Christmas Eve because I'm gonna be alone. So many years ago. Well, then hopefully watching me will be like refreshing. It won't be boring being like, ugh, I've done this already. But I'm starting to debate if I want to start Witcher 1 on Thursday next week, the 26th, or on Christmas Eve, just do like a Fields of Mystria like chill stream. Because I expect people to actually be with their families and not watch me. But I also am like, hear that? That's my back and knees cracking. Don't even get me started. Yo, my back has been acting up like crazy. And I'm just like, stop. I'm not even 30. Why am I in pain? And my knees? Oh my god. Ugh. I feel ancient. The gods gifted me with a decrepit body. I'm in my 30s. Stop. Hey, I'm getting there. Come July, I'll be 3 years away from my 30s. Because I'm 26 now, right? Yeah. Yeah, I'm 26. I had to remember. You are not old. 30s is not old. I will shout that from the rooftops. I'll howl at the moon. 30s is not old, cat lady. Please. 90s baby. I am I'm a 90s baby too. I'm a 98. I don't know why I have to keep pausing to think. But yeah, 1998. I am on the cusp of Gen Z and the cusp of millennial. I'm a zillennial. So I had a flip phone and Motorola and a slide and the iPod Nano and the was it not the Nintendo dog, the iDog or whatever, robot dog thing. I have some joys of the 90s. The Wonder Ball before I got, you know, banned, and then it was brought back, and you can get them at Five Below now. Kinder Eggs before they were allowed back in the US. I remember when they were a thing, and then they were banned, and now they're back. Like, I played on the GameCube and the N64. I did struggle with low tech a little bit. So there we go. Anyone else a 90s child here? You remember the Wonder Ball? Yes, Wonder Ball was so good. I know most people hated it, but I like the chocolate and the candy inside. I remember when they made, like, I think, unless I'm misremembering, but I swear to God, there was like a Pokemon edition. Because I remember they used to do different themes. Yeah, the chocolate ball with candy. Yeah. It was a chocolate ball that once you broke the shell, there was like sweet tart consistency. It wasn't actual sweet tarts, but it looked like them. But like they had shapes. So there was like a Pokemon version one time. There was a lot of like other Nintendo. There was Mario. If I'm remembering correctly, there was also a Sonic version, unless I'm wrong. But yeah, I was fucking addicted to Wonder Ball as a child before they got banned. Which I think was dumb, because like, it clearly said on the label, like, what ages it was good for. And if a parent wasn't watching their children eat it, that's on them. You weren't allowed to watch Pokemon? What? Why? Out of curiosity. I mean, parents do their own thing. I mean, I can't say much because my parents never really monitored my TV stuff. I mean, they would watch R-rated movies with me as a child. So like, my parents were not one to like limit what I could watch. But I also, and because of that though, I was never really curious. So I never really got into trouble of watching things I shouldn't because they sated my curiosity or whatever. But I'm very curious as to your parents' reasoning for not being allowed to watch Pokemon. This was during the Pearl clutching Christian time period. Oh. Okay. Here I was thinking, was it because Ash Ketchum got independence at the age of 12? Imagine letting your 12-year-old travel the world with monsters. I mean, Pokemon are great, but they could fucking kill you. All to become potentially a Pokemon master. Like, they have to manage their money on their own. Like, they'd have to arrange their own travel. Harry Potter is banned because magic. I can see that. You're not the first person to tell me that Harry Potter is banned because of magic. That's crazy. It sucks that you got to miss out on that as it was coming out, but at least now you're an adult. You can watch whatever you want. I feel that. Yeah, I feel, as much as like sometimes I don't get along with my parents, like I am very grateful that they still allowed me to enjoy my childhood a little bit. I mean, not fully, because of course, you know, parents divorced and I was their best friend, so I was in the middle all the time. And parents, man, they don't adult sometimes. Basically, if some TV preacher said so, then it went out the window. Ugh. What? I never understood that, to be honest. Why give that someone that much power outside of your own household? Granted, excluding like medical professionals, but like for something that's not going to affect your immediate well-being. I mean, I guess to them it would harm your immediate soul, but I just can't imagine. I mean, I guess I could. With social media and stuff, we're all easily influenced, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just too stubborn, or I overthink things. Like, I'm the type of person that will, like, I will do my research, you know, when I hear something. And then if it's, like, something that's, like, where you can have an opinion and not necessarily, like, be a fact, I would, like, I'm indecisive, but once I decide, I decide. I just can't imagine myself being influenced that much. But then again, I'm never having children. So you know what? I'm never going to have the understanding of being a parent. Like, I am child-free, so I will never know. Because in evangelical Christianity, had a chokehold on people in the early 2000s. Yeah, I was raised Catholic. My parents are not good Catholics. I mean, I went to, like, church school, for, like, Catholic church school, like CCD, every week until I was confirmed. My parents had a deal. I had to go to church school and graduate, aka get confirmed. And then after that, I can decide to do whatever I wanted with my religious life. And lo and behold, I got into a fight with my parents because I held up my end of the bargain. I went to church school, not one complaint. I did my homework, my church homework, and I got confirmed. And then the first Sunday church that came up and I didn't want to go to church, they got mad at me. And I was just like, you said I didn't have to go to church anymore if I did not want to, correct? And they were like, well, yes. And I'm like, so you're going back on your word? That was a fun fight. They never brought it up again, though. It was a fight, but I won because my parents do value their integrity more than they do church, which is, I commend them for. So that was fun. That was the only, like, religious, like, argument I've ever had with my parents. Of course, they still try to entice me. They're like, at least come to the Christmas service. And I'm like, no. No, thank you. So, that was fun. Anyway. What a weird... Not to be weird. Lurking. Hi, Cece. How are you? How have you been? I feel like I haven't spoken with you in forever, even though we just texted, like, yesterday. I miss you. I've since moved away from that love sale, but I sometimes miss it. I get that. There are certain elements that seem ideal or, like, lofty, or even, like, just, what's the word I'm looking for? Nostalgic, you know? Because, like, I don't think religion's all bad. I mean, I don't really like Catholicism because, you know, a lot of Catholics hate gays and abortions, which I'm gay. And I've never had an abortion, but I am pro-abortion. And, I did get my tubes removed, so I didn't ever have to worry about it, since I'm never gonna have children. So, but I do get it. Missing aspects of it. I do sometimes like the idea of a church community. But then I remember, it's just not for me. I would just get into so many fights with people. I did join a pagan church once. It was nice, but I'm also not very good with organized religion because of my ADHD. I can't sit and be lectured to or sermon to. Lua. which strikes me as against what Jesus was. I know! The 10 Commandments, I know them all. And, like, Flua. Jesus. Alright, I need you to move. She just unplugged one of my monitors. Excuse you. Okay, we're back. But anyway. Yeah, so... Oh yeah, I was a menace in church school. Not because I was trying to be actually disruptive. I just had so many questions. I'd be like, what about evolution? Why does this not make sense? What about this? What about that? I was so into science at that age too. They did not like me because I was not a instant believer. But anyway, not to stop a fun conversation, but we have ads starting any minute now. I cannot snooze them anymore. I used all my snoozes because I like talking to you, cat lady. So we're gonna take a quick 3-minute break, grab a snack, stretch, get some water. I will miss you. If you can't stay, no worries. If you can stay, I'll see you in 3 minutes. I am going to BRB to use the restroom and grab some water myself. And I will see you all soon. Welcome back. I missed you. And Cat Lady, I just responded to your DM on TikTok. So yeah, feel free to chat with me. I'll probably be slow to respond during stream, but I accepted your message, and I look forward to chatting. I also realized I need y'all's help because so I've been chatting with someone. Cece knows all about them, and we've been so I've been dating someone. We're not in an official capacity yet, and they just asked me a really difficult question, and that difficult question was, what's your favorite dessert? And here's the thing, I love dessert. I love all kinds of dessert. I don't know what to fucking say is my favorite, because I'm not good at picking a single thing. So I need to hear what all y'all's favorite dessert is, so that way maybe I can get inspired and choose one. Because I like pretty much all desserts. Except for like, I mean, I like fruit as a part of desserts, but I don't know if I like fruit as the main element of desserts, like pies. I'll do a chocolate pie, but I'm not necessarily like a fruit pie. So like, I know what I like aren't necessarily my favorites, but like favorite? I like almost want to say brownies, but I don't want to be lame and put brownies. I feel like brownies is a lame answer. So I need to hear all y'all's favorite desserts, because then maybe I can feel inspired and be like, you know what, I forgot that existed, because there is a lot of dessert out there. And to be honest, I haven't had a lot of dessert lately myself. I've been very good. I've been trying to be good on my health journey, and so I may have forgotten something existed. So I'd love to hear it if you'd like to talk about it. But while we think on that, we should probably answer Ascanio. We should probably respond to this question. And his question originally was Marinette right when she called you extraordinary? And you know what? Maybe we're just gonna be confident as fuck and say yes. I mean, we are extraordinary, right, chat? We're all extraordinary people. I don't see why Ascanio should think differently. So we're gonna say she was.
She was.
Ha.
Fucker laughs at us. He shuffles on the railing, finding a more comfortable position.
I'll soon have to return to the halls.
Do you not want to?
He sighs deeply.
I have to. Thank you for your company.
I must go because I'm exhausted. No worries, cat lady. Have a wonderful evening. Get the best sleep. Have a fun stream tomorrow. I will do my best to pop on, even if just for a second. I promise to say hi. Have fun. Be safe. Be healthy. And I will see you later. I'm also gonna go back to my room.
I'll be retiring as well.
He locks the door behind you when you return to the hallway. He's already donning his spectacles.
Will you be safe on your own?
I wonder if his spectacles are just like a magic thing or for him to actually see. Because like if he takes his spectacles off whenever we hang out, just the two of us, does he not want to see our face? Does he think we're ugly? I have so many questions. I want to know if this guy thinks we're ugly because he's a romantic interest. I mean, maybe not if he wants to hang out with us, but I mean, looks don't necessarily matter with a hangout. So we'll see. But I would like for him to still wear his spectacles when talking with us, so I don't doubt.
Thank you for your concern. I will be.
Not that we're romancing him,
Good night.
sadly. Through their blood, a miracle, visions of invisible truth. Their numbers thin, yet they know that the false sun will soon net to the gift to the herd. I definitely did not read that right. Are you talking about Nessa's coven? We asked. Their nurtured treasure is you, O envoy. So for those who don't know, that is the Whispers. We have these like souls kind of attached to us that talk to us. Because we're this thing called the envoy. We are literally created to be some sort of god. But the abyss, which is like the entity of which we exist, and is like the souls that we cater to, is also like, we want you to bring the darkest hour and like destroy the world. And well, not the world, but like pretty much destroy a religion, the false sun. And our character's like, but it does a lot of good. Also, a lot of people, like the dark, this doesn't sound nice. It sounds like a lot of people die. And my character doesn't want to like mass murder a bunch of people. So she's coming to terms with whether she wants to like listen to the abyss and become the goddess they want her to, or to be like Alpheon, who's also an envoy, and completely ignore the whispers and just pretend to be mortal, even though they're not. Like our character doesn't eat. She does sleep, which is curious, but she never retires. Like, doesn't worry about temperature regulation. Like, she's also immortal, which is why I don't see how any of these romances are going to work out, except for with Alpheon, who's a romanceable character, because, like, we're going to outlive everyone. So it's interesting. But anyway, morning comes. When you look outside the window, nobody's waiting for you at the gates, as agreed. Idleness is forced upon you, but you won't let it stop you from seizing the day. You refresh yourself and step outside. All right. Oh, we have an option to hang out with people. Speaking of Alpheon, why don't we hang out with him? Because I don't like Malik. He creeps me out. I'm not the biggest fan of him. So let's go see Alpheon. What's Alpheon doing at the Temple of Prime? I have seen this scene before. So this is, if you are under 18, do not watch this. No. Or listen. There's nothing on screen you're gonna see. Don't listen though. Like, leave. But anyway, the Temple of the Prime Sun oversees the largest bathhouse in Caerlease, an imposing Aniston-style building with tall marble columns and statues chipped away by time. A crowd is waiting for the turn outside the baths, under the watchful eye of the priest and a couple of guards. Leatrice, says Alpheon. Alpheon greets you from the corner of your eye. What are you doing here? I'm just looking around. Did you have to wait long for the parents of those children you were watching? This happened in the other stream, last stream. Yes, the little ones are the most demanding audience. I had to sing nursery rhymes for half an hour, he responds. That doesn't sound too bad. In falsetto. Now I almost want to hear it. Not gonna happen. A bundle under his arm piques your curiosity. The contents are wrapped in rough cloth and the embroidery of the Prime. He must have requested the services of the temple. Alpheon, are you alright? Asks Leatrice. Peachy, really? He hides the bundle from sight. This is really nothing to be concerned about. Then why is he being so evasive? Do you really want to know? Fuck yeah, we do. Is it gross? Should I retract my question? You, being coy? Yes. Unless it's private. Fuck yeah, I do. I don't know how roundabout you want me to be about this, so I'll be direct for once. You and I are barren, which is a win in my book. But given the secrecy we must adhere to, it's handy to have herbs and lambskin too. He taps the bundle. Give mortals peace of mind and spare them all the details. So for those who may have not got what he put down, he's got condoms on him. At least their version of condoms. I'm so fucking nosy. How often do you buy such supplies? Now that's private. Why do you ask? Just wondering if I'll ever get a turn. Oh my god. We're not romancing him, so we're not picking it. I'm just curious. It's better if I don't know. I'm just saying I'm just curious. I mean, we were only born, like, what, 3 weeks ago? We were born fully formed. Like, we had no past life. Our soul came directly from the abyss. We're not conceived in any other way. So, like, you know what? Let's ask. We're curious. Is it bad if I tell you that I need to come back every fortnight or so? Well, it depends on how much they give you. But if you're coming back every fortnight, that sounds like a fucking lot. That depends on how long the herbs of 1 hour is supposed to last. Oh, I never bite more than I can chew, says Alpheon. Alpheon is happy to spend some time with you. Why don't we go to the rest? Sure, why not? When you arrive, you sit under Autry's statue. Does Autry look like this under her hood? Yes and no. If she stopped throwing herself into fires and canals and fights, I'm sure her hair would grow out, her skin would heal, and I would believe she would look like this. But she is ever going to? No, responds Leatrice. Do you know she sleeps in the shadows? I offered her my place. I could go somewhere else for a couple days, but she said... He clears his voice. Alpheon, how many times will I die if I don't... Well, how many people will die if I don't act? I can't read. Don't worry about this. I really want to tell her that. His smile drops. That our efforts are futile? But they are not. What a dreadful topic. You find death dreadful? Asked Leatrice. It terrifies me. Which is interesting. He's immortal. Why would death terrify him? I mean, he's only 2 years old. But that's a weird thing to say about a grown-ass man with fucking abs. Are you willing to test your immortality? What a thing to fucking say. I am also afraid you are a coward. We're just gonna change the topic because I don't like any of those. Much appreciated. Should we ask Autry to join us? Asked Leatrice. I doubt she'll come. She was nagging me endlessly yesterday. Alpheon, the abyss is not to be left wanting. I beg to differ. Something so ancient must have warped sense of time. What's a decade or so in the grand scheme of things? That reminds you of the demands the abyss has of you. The abyss seems to be pretty insistent about bringing forth the darkest hour. You'll learn to tune its demands out. Although ever since you awakened, its mandate for me has changed. His smirk turns into a distant gaze. This prodigal one seems to be quite the thorn in the abyss's side. All I know is that they seem to have ties to the goddess, responds Leatrice. Ah, yes, the false sun so fiercely hated by the abyss. He taps the bundle on the ground. Can't say I agree with it. I'll say I feel the same. I'm glad to hear that, he responds. He sighs. That was a mood killer. Time for some singing, I reckon. This is your cue to run away if you so desire. I want to hang out with him more, but it also seems like a waste of time since I'm not romancing him, which is bad, because, like, I could go through this without romancing anyone. Like, I can turn the romance off completely. But, like, I'm romancing him in another playthrough, in a private playthrough, and I want to see if I can go talk to Sylus, my girl, my future wifey. So, we're going to move on. He winks at you. Happy reading. You say goodbye to him and head to work. The bells that mark the end of the working day toll all around you. The stitch and seam isn't far, and you still owe Anilia the dinner you promised her. You run to the shop just in time to see her wrap up her work. Oh, Leatrice, hello, says Anilia. Behind her, some apprentices are stitching the hems of small flags around a rope. Good evening. I didn't know the shop made flags. We normally don't. This is a special order for the festival. Rumor has it that this year, not one, but 2 families will become noble houses, and they are splurging on decorations. Working on the nightgowns was a nice change of pace. Speaking of which, how are the nightgowns? She asks. Wonderful, thank you, responds Leatrice. You should thank Miss Marinette. I only did my job. Do you remember the dinner plans we had to cancel? She nods. Are you free now? Of course. Are Sylus and Marinette going to join us later? Today it's just you and me. She searches your face. They are both busy. Marinette with her studies and Sylus with her... gigs. You're very nice, even when talking about what Sylus does. Don't judge my girl. She may not have an honest living, but she does her job well. Can you tell I like the bad girls? Once inside the tavern, you leave your cloak by the entrance and approach the counter. Are the other misses not with you? Asks the innkeeper. Tonight, it's only the 2 of us. He stares at Anilia's mourning veil, stark and severe, a foil to her sweet features. My condolences. What did you want to order again? Anilia turns towards you. So we don't need to eat, but we also need to blend in, because Anilia, wonderful as she is, does not know that we're an immortal being that does not need food to survive. We're not human whatsoever. So if I just order a stew for her, she's gonna be like, what the fuck? And feel awkward. We don't want her to feel awkward. We love Anilia. Anilia's cute and sweet and lovable and super nice. So we're gonna pretend to eat. So chicken for 2. You order drinks as well and take a seat. What would Sylus's reaction be after being called a miss? Asked Anelia. I don't think she would mind it too much. I think she'd say something like, Sylus is enough. Definitely. Sylus would not like to be called a miss. I get the same impression. That's why I don't call her miss. Tell me, do you remember all the people you made clothes for? Asked Beatrice. Somewhat. I can recognize their faces or any striking details. For example, there was this lady. She was complaining that the clasp of her doublet had fallen apart. I remember the scars on her cheeks. It looked like someone splashed boiling water on her face. Oh, wow, that sounds awful. Was she an apothecary by any chance? Asked Beatrice. Oh, shit, is she talking about Nessa? Yep, she's talking about Nessa. I think so. She had some vials on her belt. I think I know who you're talking about, responds Beatrice. Really? Here, at least it's smaller than I realized, responds Beatrice. The barmaid places your food on the table. Ah, thank you again. You spend a moment in silence to honor the loss of her mother, then Anelia dives in with gusto. The time you spend with her restores some of her lost lividity. The wine even makes her eyes sparkle with yearning. Do you think Miss Marinette will leave the halls this year during the Solstice Festival? Asks Anelia. She hides her face in her hands. If she's going at all, it's probably with someone much better than I'll ever be. Wait. Oh my god, Anelia's interested in Marinette? That was so not obvious before. I thought she was only interested because she thought magic was cool. But, I mean, Marinette's beautiful. Oh my god, she likes Marinette. Good. She can help me put an end to this fucking love triangle that I started. It was my fault. I did flirt with Marinette first and then switch to Sylus, her rival. Whoops. So Anelia's a good choice and a good another option. Fuck yeah. Let's try and play Cupid if it will let me. I don't know if it will. Don't say that. Once dinner is done, you escort her back to the shop. I had a wonderful evening, thank you. Anytime, responds Beatrice. You open your eyes as distant bells toll. It's a new day, one you decide to start with it to sane. Invigorated, you leave the guest house. The door to Malik's shop is ajar. When you approach it, you hear his voice, uncharacteristically loud and forceful. I suggest you take your business somewhere else. And I suggest you hand over what's ours, says the drawling voice. You lost your claim to them when you forfeited them, responds Malik. You hear a metallic sound, the drag of leather, a weapon being unsheathed. I'm gonna intervene. You announce your presence with heavy steps and make sure to make the door creak. Concealing his blade, the ruffian takes a wide step to the side to have both you and Malik in his sight. Malik, my mother sent me for the earrings. Since you're dressed like a merchant, you decide to play the part and desperately hope Malik understands your intentions. Keeping his eyes on the scoundrel, Malik drums his fingers on the counter. But of course, the courier she sent was one an iron short. You make a show of searching your belt, your pretense of obliviousness. I'll be back, says the scoundrel. You step to the side with a smile to let the man pass. His steely eyes look past you, and he slams the door shut. He's still outside. He's not leaving. Ah, there it is. Can you help me look for them? Your eyes dart towards the door, then return to Malik. He nods and quickly projects his voice. But of course. Only then does the ruffian leave. You approach the counter quickly. Are you alright? Not quite, no. If it wasn't for you, Lua, frickin' move. Sorry, she's like walking all over everything, and I'm worried she's gonna like shut down my PC again. Continuing. Not quite, no. If it wasn't for you, the situation would have taken an ugly turn for me. That was my first encounter with my parents' preferred clientele. What a legacy to take over, soaked in blood and watered with tears. Disgusted, he looks at the clutter all around him. I thought I wanted nothing more than to liquidate this nightmare, but the idea of this place falling into the wrong hands revolts me. No matter how hard he tries to conceal it, he's still shaken. His eyes keep returning to the door in fear of it opening.
Can I do anything for you, Malik?
Your company could give me some peace of mind, at least until I visit the guilds and the city guards. I should also request the aid of the Palace of the People.
Your presence grants him safety, as a witness, if anything. You curtsy.
I'm at your service. What do you usually do to get your mind off your troubles?
He lifts a stained scroll from a pile of papers and reveals a half-finished portrait of Shiroko, captured in charcoal with windswept hair and a playful smile on his lips. We're gonna say that looks wonderful.
That looks wonderful.
Ah, you're too kind. Not only is it still undone, his eyebrows are giving me major issues.
I'm not gonna ask. You can see the tension leave Malik's shoulder as he talks about the drawing. He takes the charcoal stick and adds a stroke to the eyebrows.
I'm out of practice. Years of tattooing hands will do that to a man.
His eyes raise to meet yours.
I have an idea.
Oh no.
It's much easier to have a model instead of going by memory. May I draw your portrait? Clothed, of course. But
Why
you won't
would I
hear me
assume
complain if you
not
decide to open your
clothed?
collar.
Why did you feel the need to clarify? You want to hear me complain if you decide to open your collar? Shut up. Was the offer of undressing ever on the table? Yeah, exactly, bro. How long do I need to sit still? I'm gonna ask how long.
At least half an hour, until I have a solid foundation to work with.
It might be just what he needs to take his mind off the attempted extortion.
What do you say?
Absolutely the fuck not. Why don't you finish the one you started?
I should, shouldn't I?
He looks at it with a frown.
Maybe the eyebrows aren't the problem.
His nose feels too small.
He traces over the old lines of the nose, making them thicker.
You might be onto something.
You watch him work. He might be out of practice, but his mastery is undeniable. Stroke after stroke, he refines the face made immortal on his canvas, adding depth to the shadows and sketching the exquisite embroidery of his garments. Every once in a while, he asks you for your opinion, and he's happy to work on your notes.
Isn't this boring for you?
It's fascinating.
Is it? Actually, no, I would love to watch some. I do, like, enjoy watching streams of people drawing and stuff. I just don't like Malik. I'm such an asshole. But, like, he's just weird. Like, some things you just keep to yourself. Okay, sir? Once it's time to leave, he assures you he'll be fine on his own, and you part ways. You return to the guest house while he heads for the barracks of the city guard. It's a new day. As you are getting ready to leave for the Temple of Dawn, someone knocks on your door. One moment. Poised and graceful as usual, Marinette curtsies to you once she enters your sight. Good morning. Come in. How are your studies with Nessa proceeding? Asks Leatrice. She takes a seat. They are unlike anything I've ever studied. Magic as I know it is exact and precise. It can be ascribed to a formula. More than talent, a capable mage possesses a sharp mind and an exceptional memory. An elegant movement of her hand summons a soft breeze in the room. The aether will always morph into a breeze regardless of whoever casts such a spell, if the formula is correct. Are Nessa's teachings not exact then? Dejected, she looks outside the window. They have been fruitless. I can see you're frustrated by it. That is an understatement. I was naive in thinking that I could easily forget what I have enforced and perfected for years. Nessa claims that unless I am willing to make myself a blank slate and start anew, without the preconceptions I learned in the halls, I will never learn the magic of the abyss. Her eyes lock with yours, defiant, almost fiery. Nessa is wrong. My thing is, that's harsh when you think. Let her elaborate. How so? Should you really be saying that? I'm gonna let her elaborate. What I need is to feel the presence of the abyss. Her eyes, sharp like those of a hawk, pierce right through you. Through you. She is asking for your blood, just like Nessa did. Absolutely the fuck not. See, I told y'all I know where this was going. She disapproves. Listen to Nessa instead of assuming she is wrong. I don't want you to use me as a shortcut. Actually, yeah. I don't want you to use me as a shortcut.
Why are you already giving up on Nessa's teachings? It's only been a few days. Was a Senite in the halls enough to make you the mage you are? Did it not take years?
Her eyes lower.
Failure is not something I enjoy pursuing.
Nobody does. Please, give Nessa a chance before you decide to discredit her.
When Marinette raises her head, she is smiling.
You are very kind, even when expressing your disappointment in me. I apologize.
There's no need to do that.
A moment of silence passes between you.
I dare not ask for your blood again, then. But your ear.
I'm listening.
Fernando, my mentor, one of those that gave his life for yours, was a practitioner of both magical arts, of the halls and of the abyss. I told you how he left behind journals, chronicles of his descent into madness. He tapped into his darkest fears and lived through them constantly to harness his powers.
I can see why you wouldn't want to do that.
His journal made my skin crawl. I understood what made him change throughout the years, the horrors he kept unearthing. And that made me ask, what is it that I am afraid of?
I want to wait for her to answer.
The answer is almost banal. Fire. Small flames, like those of candles, do not scare me. Bigger ones, like the artificial sun that lights the everlasting prime, they make me feel small, alone, and afraid.
I'll touch her shoulder.
There's no need to dig up those memories.
She sighs. Bells toll in the distance.
I promised Nessa I would visit her around this time.
Wouldn't it be better to skip today?
Perhaps. But your words filled me with purpose.
She stands and fixes a crease in her dress.
My friend, I will show you that the abyss can act through me as well. Take care.
Actually, I should save. I haven't saved in a hot sec. Your thoughts return to the harbor in the aftermath of the siren's death. Curious if you'll see a difference at all, you head south where the tides slam against the city's old fortifications. I'll never get used to the smell. The closer you walk to the docks, the more alive the shadows look. At their starkest under the scorching midday sun, they buzz with the prospect of violence. Oh, joy! A great clamor guides you to one of the warehouse's streets, and you need but a look to understand what has the shadows so riled up. A great crowd forms a wall between you and two city guards whose halberds are poised at the ready. Tell those pricks that without the dockmaster, none of us would be here, says the angry sailor. If you want to get to him, you'll have to get through us first, says a furious mariner. Bastion is encircled by sailors and even some foreign merchants. The orders! Screw your orders. The dockmaster ain't going nowhere near the citadel. Now get out of here. Nobody messes with the dockmaster while we're around. Rallied around Bastion, the crowd chases away the guards. All you can see behind the wall of people are their halberds moving. What happens when they send 5 times the number of guards? Asked Bastion. 5, 20, 100 of them? Doesn't matter, boss, says the furious mariner. If they have beef with you, they have it with all of us, responds the angry sailor. You sappy lot, says Bastion. The crowd disperses slowly, not before everyone shares a word with the dockmaster. He seems surprised to see you. Leodris, I didn't expect you in the crowd. I'm gonna joke, if the Citadel has beef with you... He rolls his eyes with a smile. He looks less weary than the last time you saw him, and his shadow mirrors his movements instead of having a life of its own. Just as you think that, it waves at you. I take it that the Citadel learned of your involvement with the halls. It was only a matter of time. Truth be told, I expected them to replace me. I was only fined instead. It almost sounds like you wanted to be replaced, responds Leodris. He looks around to make sure nobody can hear him. You're spot on. Look, I love Carolis. I have shared a meal with the Janissaries of Warit, seen the tombs of Comet, and even sailed to the edge of the world past Lusitania. Yet I have always come back. And I love hearing stories of what our neighbors are up to, now that I have my age and all that. His brows furrow. What I don't love is having people who have never set foot on a ship tell me what to do. The mariners are ready to defend you with their lives. A big smile makes his eyes twinkle. They were, weren't they? Moon touched all of them, I tell you. There's only fondness behind his barb. Before the Citadel sends more guards to agitate my people, I'll pay the fine and hear what they have to say. He smirks. And probably ignore it. From one street over, someone yells in a foreign tongue. Bastian turns around and yells an answer. I'll be going. Thank you again for all you have done. Rest assured it won't be forgotten. He traces the symbol of the prime in the air and sprints away. Sitting at your counter in the temple makes your mind wander. Why is Nessa taking so long? Look who came to visit, said Brother Mattia. Brother Mattia and Lapo walk over. Their friendship seems unlikely, even after seeing them next to each other. What are you doing here? Shouldn't you be in the hinterlands by now, looking at what's killing them? Asks Lapo. I am waiting for Nessa, responds Leatrice. Lapo turns towards Brother Mattia to explain. She's the apothecary I told you about, one that's taking her sweet time. You can't rush the workings of herbs, responds Brother Mattia. Bah! I am going to BRB real quick, so sorry. I will be back in just like a minute or so. I will be right back. patience. My apologies for the delay. Let us continue. I'm gonna say it's strange to see you here. Who do you think takes care of the people that trudge to the temples? Surgeons with a cushy practice and noble patience? Asked Lapo. You elect to ignore his harsh tone. Before Brother Mattia can scold him, his eyebrows form a pained knot and he clutches his chest. Are you not feeling well, brother? That's his own doing, says Lapo. Brother Mattia glares at him. I am fine. Lapo rolls his eyes but doesn't say anything. It's clear they do not want to tell you. Ah, what happened to the peasant we helped? How is he faring? Asked Leatrice. I sent him back home on horseback with some of Nessa's theriac in his pocket. When? The day after you brought him in. I couldn't afford to feed him, and I'm not fond of skipping meals like someone I know. Brother Mattia cares not to comment. The rider told me that he survived the journey and that his wife helped him inside. My options are, I hope we did was enough to make him survive. Do you think he will make it? So it all depends on him now. That poor family's been through a lot. We're gonna say, so it all depends on him now. As it always does, responds Lapo. You have things to do. I'll leave you to them. He turns on his heels and Brother Mattia follows him. Get in touch with me if anything happens. I will, responds Leatrice. The rest of the day is unremarkable. When you're sealing the ink bottles and cleaning the tips of the quills, someone approaches your table. It's Sylus, light on her feet and with half a bitten apple in her hand. Sylus, my love! My future girlfriend and wife! Hello, I missed you! You have no idea how happy I am to see you here. Where else would I be? Asked Leatrice. Playing with blood with the miss? Glad that's not the case. Who do you take me for? Right, responds Sylus. She looks in exceptionally high spirits. What have you been up to? Oh, you know, taking a gig here, one there. A radiant grin makes her cheeks rosier as she takes out a string of jingling coins from her pockets. I thought the money from bodyguarding would have run dry by now, but I'm still getting paid. How about we put it to good use and go to the Rose to celebrate? Let me put everything away first, responds Leatrice. You roll up the unused paper and store it in the desk drawers. It's running low. Sylus leans over the counter and bites into the apple. Has the miss kept in touch? Hey, Lua, stop it. Get down. Gosh, my cat, she's being a troublemaker. I'm gonna say, what do you think? Someone who yaps about destiny this and destiny that would never let you be. So true. As soon as the desk is clear, Sylus pulls you out of the temple. Let's go. The Rose is always the same, hazy with the smell of smoked meat and wine. Sitting in languidity... I did not read that right. On a sofa, Alpheon is strumming on his lute. Alone for once. Alpheon sounds like it's a Pokemon name, like one of the Eevee evolutions. I don't know why I just put that together. I've been saying his name all this time, and I'm just like, man, he could be a Pokemon. He looks like one, with his dual red and white hair. Anyway, Sylus walks to the counter with a spring in her step. Oh, you again, says the innkeeper. I'm here to pay my tab, responds Sylus. I'll believe it after I see it. She drops a handful of shiny coins on the counter. Annoyed, the innkeeper begins to collect them. Slowly, his scowl turns into a smile. Well, I'll be. You'll be generous enough to offer us some wine on the house, asked Sylus. Water. Good enough for me, and some little oranges. Once the food arrives, Sylus throws herself on it like a starving woman. I haven't eaten this good in a while. I'm not gonna say anything. Between the mellow music and the rich flavors of the stuffed fried rice she calls little oranges, the time to part ways comes quickly. Sylus insists on escorting you to the gates of the refrain. Time flies. Will you be all right on your own? It's quite late, says Leatrice. I will. I know these streets like the back of my hand. Aw, I'm gonna take her hand. You reach for her hand, and to your surprise, she lets you take it. You raise it so that the moon can bathe in it in light. Where would the refrain be then? Sylus wiggles her pinky. Here, because it's the finger I know how to use the least. And what about the safe house? She thinks for a moment, then wiggles her middle finger. So your path You follow the curve of her knuckle like a map. Unlike her digit, it's still soft, and you keep your touch gentle like that of a feather. Is like this. Your touch connects both knuckles. Sylus is holding her breath. No? Yeah, responds Sylus. Her voice is choked. To think that something so innocent has her flustered like this. Oh, shit. Okay. Hold up, we're gonna save. So we have two options here. We can kiss her hand or look into her eyes. You know what? I'm bold. Right? I'm bold. We're gonna kiss her hand. Oh. Nobody has ever done that to me. Took a screenshot of that. Did you like it? Wordlessly, Sylus nods. She clutches the hand you kiss like a treasure. I should be going. I'll see you soon. I hope so, responds Sylus. A stern knock on your door is followed by a slip of paper sliding underneath it. Thank you. You crouch to look at the note. It bears Marine's handwriting, but her usual affectations are missing. Nessa knows what's causing death by blood. It's the water. Come to the shop first thing. M. The black substance that coats their insides comes from the water. You take your cloak from the door and head out. On your way to the apothecary shop, you see two familiar faces. Leatrice! Are you also going to the shop? We asked. Despite Sylus' dislike for Nessa, I could not exclude her today. Sylus mumbles something under her breath, something that sounds awfully like thanks. When you arrive at her shop, Nessa's already busy chopping herbs with a half-moon knife. You came! There are several glass vials strewn on the working table. Some of them contain an ink-like liquid. Others are filled with something clear as water. What did you learn about the residue? It's water-soluble, responds Nessa. Sylus looks at you. That means it dissolves in water. It does not, however, dissolve in phlegm, which explains why it coats their inside. Look. She turns the vial upside down. What you thought was liquid is instead solid and stuck. What happens if you shake it? asks Sylus. Nessa gives the bottle a good shake, but it still doesn't make the contents loose. If it cannot dissolve, it solidifies, much like cement. The peasants have something like that inside them? Leatrice asked. Lady of Dawn, aid them. Are they not purifying their water? Boiling doesn't work for this substance, responds Nessa. Do you remember the man you helped? The one with the small child? You nod. I pray he's still alive. She hands you a silver case. If he made it, here's some theriac. You need to ask him from which wells he drank. Aren't they all poison, asked Sylus? Not all of them, no. And according to Nessa, there are countless of them. We can do that, responds Leatrice. May you be successful in your endeavor, O envoy. Caerlease comes alive as the sun rises in the sky. One of the arteries of the city seems a sizable yet quiet crowd. Young and old alike watch an artist perch atop a ladder in awe. Brush at hand, he's retouching the old fresco on the wall. Sorry, need a pass, sorry, goes Sylus. The fresco depicts the Lady of the Prime with a cornucopia filled with wheat, olives, and flowers. Were we not in a hurry, I would have liked to join the crowd, says Marine. You like to watch paint dry? asks Sylus. Once you pass the congestion, the streets are clear until you reach the gates. Several guards keep their halberds upright, a threat if you ever saw one. What now? A man with a straw hat sits on the ground, looking resigned, while a couple of guards empty his wagon. This is just what we needed, responds Marine. One of the guards approaches you, weapon in hand. Morning. Apologies for the holdup. This shouldn't take... She eyes your group with wariness. Behind her, more guards open crates and sift through their contents. We're gonna enthrall her. The power in your voice and your words make her stagger. You look like respectable folk. No harm in letting you know. Sylus coughs to mask her chortle. Someone's been smuggling seeds to the hinterlands. Smuggling seeds? asked Marine. Persimmons are a delicacy reserved for the Citadel only. If they started growing persimmons in the hinterlands, it'd become a peasant's fruit. And what is wrong about that? asked Leatrice. Before she can answer, your thrall is broken. Disoriented, she leans on her halberd for support. Another good look at your group, at you, fashioned like a merchant, and at the blue silks of Marine, is all the guard needs. You are free to pass. She tips her feathered hat and lets you walk past the wagon. The houses outside of the city walls don't look nearly as sturdy as the ones inside. Gardens and patches of trees gradually become more frequent, then morph into fields that stretch over the hills. The grapes that populate the vineyards are still young and sour. While they mature, the peasants tend to patches of leafy greens or fruit trees, amid the chirps of birds and the buzz of insects. The dirt path you followed last time leads you to the tiny settlement at the foot of a hill. The blinds of the peasant's house are open. Who wants to do the honors? Asked Sylus. I'll knock on the door. You hear a yelp followed by the pitter-patter of feet. Who goes there? Asked Miche. The child's voice sounds almost hopeful. Do you remember us? We helped your father some days ago, said Leatrice. What's the squirt's name again? Asked Sylus. Doors opened properly. It's Miche. Ma said I shouldn't let anyone in. She's right. There are plenty of bad people around, responds Sylus. Marinette clicks her tongue. We just wanted to talk. We can come back when she's here. We're not bad people, let us in. We can speak through the door if it makes you feel safer. We just want to talk. We brought more theriac for your pa. Miche hesitates for a second, then fully opens the door. Thank you, responds Marinette. The inside of the house has seen better days. Mud cakes the floor, and everything seems covered in a layer of dust. Miche scuttles back to grab a broom too big for him. He didn't have a limp the last time we saw him, but he drags his foot now. Pa's upstairs. I believe you should come with us, says Marinette. Why? You're the acting head of the house, aren't you? Ma is, says Miche. Your ma's not here, and as the second in command, you're the one in charge until she returns, says Sylus. Judging from the state of the house, his mother has not been home for some days already. I guess you're right. He drops the broom on the ground and jogs towards the stairs. A wince makes him slow down. Over here. The upstairs is marginally cleaner, save for some straw by the bed. The smell, however. Who made the pillow explode? Asked Sylus. A wrecked pillowcase has been kicked by the foot of the bed, still half filled with straw. A figure tosses and turns under the thin bed sheets. Is that your father? Asked Marinette. For once, Sylus doesn't bicker about being ignored. The peasant you helped tosses again, twisting the soaked bed sheets. A piece of straw is scratching his neck and makes him turn again. His eyes are open, but he does not seem conscious. You spot glass shards by the foot of the bed. A dead fly is floating in the water carafe on the bedstand. It's in this wretched place that you feel something inside you bloom. The abyss is here, leaving its mark in the father's delirium, in the filth on the floor, in the tears Miche tries to contain. It hurts. You feel as if the roots of a flower are carving their way through your heart. Leatrice? Asked Marinette. The shadows crawl closer to you, strain themselves to comfort you with their touch. Nessa left you with some theriac for a reason. You scrape some of it from the case and drop it into the farmer's gasping mouth. We can assist the child in despair, find the mother who fled, aid the delirious man. We cannot aid the delirious man. Sorry, I do not have enough points in shadow, so we can enthrall or just assist the child. We'll assist the child in despair. Amid the filth and the squalor, a glimmer of hope remains. The child that perseveres despite being too young, too small to handle the horrors around him. Miche, we can help you until your ma arrives. Just tell us what to do. We can try, says Sylus. The breeches of Miche's father are soiled. The animals fighting in their pens need to be pacified with food long overdue. Between those tasks and the state of the house is in, you will be busy for hours. I was expecting more complaints from the miss, said Sylus. Marinette makes a face whenever her dress gets a spot, but she does not voice her displeasure. Unable to use magic outside the city walls, she has taken up a rag and is cleaning the windows. You have been the only one to complain so far, Sylus. You remove a splinter from your palm. Your soft hands have never seen a day of work before holding the broom in your grasp. Is the squirt still outside? Asked Sylus. Yes, I told him to tend to the hens, responds Marinette. Good. Where do you think his mom went? I say it looks like she abandoned her family. How could she? Asks Marinette. I hope she wasn't foolish enough to flee to the city. Unless you know the right people, going there without any family or money is guaranteed a bad time, said Sylus. You work together to make Miche's home look like it used to. Through your work, you unravel small bits about the family. Initial stitch on napkins, a wooden spoon with the handle carved to resemble a bunch of grapes. The shadows cling thickly to those objects, bemoaning the past. It's clean! The boy limps aside with fresh dirt on his knees and shoes. Keep it clean by wiping your feet first, responds Sylus. Fine. Pa didn't wake up, did he? Asked Miche. He only regained consciousness to take a sip of water, responds Marinette. The boy's shoulders sag. He looks lost, a stranger in his own house. You pat one of the mismatched chairs by the dining table. Come, sit with us. I need to check on Pa, says Michelle. Let us go together, then. The child nods and heads upstairs. It breaks my heart a little. How could his mother just leave like that, asks Sylus. Should we alert the temple? I don't think they would send someone here. It's too far away. It's less than an hour's walk, responds Leatrice. It's time not used to help someone from the city, responds Sylus. Footsteps announce the descent of Michelle and Marinette. He is still feverish. The two take a seat by the dining table. Has his condition improved? asks Marinette. Yeah, he's not screaming anymore, says Michelle. He was screaming? asks Sylus. The child nods silently. His eyes are wide open, fixated on an invisible point in front of him. You don't know if you can save his father, but one thing is certain. Michelle will be lost unless you do something about it. Your mother truly know where she is? Is there a shrine or temple nearby that could assist you? Did no neighbors check on you? We'll ask about the mother. Tears swell in his eyes and spill out once he shakes his head. At least you still have your paw, said Sylus. Sylus pats him on the shoulder and he retracts as if burned. After a moment of silence, Michelle squeezes his eyes as hard as he can. I wish he hadn't jested about that. Jested about what? asked Marinette. About dying. Everybody does that, Squirt, because they never expect it to be true, says Sylus. But he did. The patron lord told him. He told him that if he left to make Ma happy, he'd be as good as dead to him. The patron lord? asked Leatrice. From House Rizzo. The lands of House Rizzo are the most afflicted by death by blood. For him to make such a comment, was the timing simply unfortunate? Was he jesting, or is there something more to it? Pa stopped working for a couple of days for Ma's birthday. She wanted new bedding and a spoon with her initials, and... How does your Pa know the patron lord? asked Sylus. He works under him. But the lands of House Rizzo are a day from here. It's less than 2 hours on horseback, responds Michelle. A coughing sound from upstairs makes Michelle jump out of his chair to limp to the second floor. Is there any point in us waiting for his Ma to come back? asked Sylus. I'm gonna say she won't come back because, like, she did not leave her child in this fucking state. I have no doubts about that. It is much easier to flee than to face the consequences of one's own actions, responds Marinette. I can't wrap my head around it. The Squirt was lucky Nessa fixed his paw, or we would have had an orphan on our hands. Well, he's already one. He just doesn't know it yet, says Sylus. She peeks from the staircase. I think it's time for Pa to get some more medicine, responds Michelle. I'm coming upstairs then, says Marinette. Sylus looks at the ceiling where the peasant's bed is and mutters a prayer to the Lady of Dusk. I don't think he's going to make it through the night. She bites on the inside of her cheek. You saw the state he was in, with his soiled breeches in. That's no way to die for a good man like him. But he looks better now. A bit more groomed, clean, just like in the Last Supper. Have you ever heard of it? When someone knows they're going to die, they dress nicely, have dinner with their family, then go to the Temple of Dusk. There, the lady delivers them, without pain, without fear. You're saying that instead of making him suffer, we can give him the rest of the theriac so he'll feel no pain and let Dusk take him in his sleep, says Sylus. Except there is no Dusk, only the darkness that coils around your wrist and curls around your fingers. I'm gonna take care of it. Sylus takes your hand. Don't make that face. It's the merciful thing to do. We're spending the night, I assume? asked Marinette. Yeah. Hey, Michelle, how much do you like your neighbors? He peeks from the staircase. I don't. Nice! Dinner will be on them, says Sylus. Without any embers, starting a fire on the earth is no ordeal, even with Sylus's tinderbox. Marinette is particularly frustrated by it. It would be so easy for her were she not outside the city walls. You eat your dinner upstairs. Michelle tries to feed his father, but he is too feverish to accept anything. Night falls. When it's your turn to administer the theriac, you put every last bit of the treacle on the peasant's tongue. You can't rest. Something swells in your heart like a tree being uprooted by a storm. You can give this man a painless death delivered by your hands. You know what? We're gonna do it because, like, I don't want him to suffer. And he's definitely not gonna live. Your fingers wrap around his neck. Oh, that's how we're doing it. Fuck. I thought we were going to use, like, magic or some shit Didn't think we literally meant, like, from the bare hands. Well, shit. Well, we have an ad break coming up. I'm gonna BRB. We will mercifully finish this guy, and then we will probably call it for the evening. But yeah, I will BRB. Use this time to get a snack, drink some water, be safe, and I will be back. Welcome back. I hope y'all had a good break. Let us continue this fairly dark moment and end on a dark note. The shadows in your heart swell and spill forth, giving your touch the strength it needs to steal the man's last breath from him. Stunned as he is by the theriac, he does not even cry out. His soul leaves, and for a moment you think it looks at you, nameless. Something germinates in your mind like a flower fighting the soil. Egregorio, his name. All his memories, all that he ever felt, spills out from him and falls into darkness. Your arm reaches out, but he's already gone. He is in the darkness that blankets the room, in the sweat on Michelle's clenched fist, in Sylus's grim eyes. He returned not to dusk, not to the heavens, but to the embrace of the abyss. A desperate wail makes you open your eyes. It's Michelle. His screams are incoherent, strings of words choked by tears. His funeral will be in 2 days, says Sylus. Thank you for taking care of it, responds Leatrice. The priestess told me a bit about him. Did you know that his name was Gregorio? He was working all the way in the lands of Rizzo because he was originally from there. Moved when he married that wretch. What is going to happen to Michelle? Nothing good. I speak from experience. Marinette descends the staircase with a grim expression. Would Nessa take Michelle in? Asked Marinette. It doesn't hurt to ask. Do you trust her with a child? Because I don't, says Sylus. Michelle is inconsolable. No matter how much you try to convince him, he does not want to leave his house. We're not enthralling a child. Marinette has rapport with the kids, so we're gonna let Marinette handle him. She has been quiet all morning. Rather than Michelle not listening to her, it's she who does not speak. Sylus crouches next to the child. Eternal rest grant unto him, O dusk. May perpetual light shine upon him, and may he rest in peace in the gardens of heaven. She draws a symbol in the air, the lower half of a circle. Your turn? Michelle looks at her through the tears. Eternal rest grant unto him, O dusk. Sylus repeats the rest of the prayer with him. I'm going to stay silent. They chanted until Michelle's tears stopped. May Pa rest in peace in the gardens of heaven. He's already there. Bet he's looking down on us and telling us to stop crying, says Sylus. Yeah. The sun is already high in the sky where you leave Michelle's home. You see shadows move inside the houses of his neighbors, but none come out. Nessa is hunched over her work table when you see her from the window. A single look is enough for her to understand. Oh, no. Michelle's little face contorts in pain. Why is he... What of his mother? Asks Nessa. She left. You see her eyes dart from the child to her table. We were wondering if you could take him in, says Leatrice. You were asking a lot of me. Our options are we don't have a choice. I'm giving you an apprentice. I know. Where else could he go? I am giving you an apprentice. Nessa leans against the table. Michelle, what do you say? I want to go home, says Michelle. I don't think you can. The alternative is to learn embroidery, but it doesn't sound like it'd be something for you, says Sylus. You hardly saw him sit still. Will I be able to make theriac if I come with you? With time. It takes years to learn how to properly treat the ingredients, how they can aid, how they can harm, and how you can use them. But will you teach me? Asked Michelle. I will. And will you take me to Pa's funeral? She nods. Do I need to sign something? I don't know how to make a cross. I know how to make a cross. Nessa makes a face. I'll have to teach you how to read and write. Did you eat yet? I have some bread over there on the side table. He nods to you and walks towards the corner. Nessa takes a chance to exchange some words with you in private. What are you going to do now? Asks Nessa. A visit to the lands of House Rizzo is long overdue. Michelle's father was working there. Remember what I said about the water? We'll check their wells and canals and everything, says Sylus. I will stay in the city and make sure Michelle attends his father's funeral. Munching on the bread, Michelle looks at the walls covered in bottles and bundles of herbs with sadness. May the shadows you cast guide you to the truth, envoy. They will all die, prized like the donkey is, for their work, not their being. Will you let them? No, I won't. I'll save them, says Leatrice. And with that, I think that is the perfect place to stop for tonight. So let me save. Thank you so much for a wonderful stream. I hope y'all had a good time. I'm not going to raid out. I will be back Thursday, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time for some more Sigh of the Abyss. I'm still deciding the schedule for next week. I might do just some chill streams, like maybe some Fields of Mystria. I think I'll do that for Christmas Eve, because I will stream Tuesday, Christmas Eve at 6 p.m. Sunday will still be some more Sigh of the Abyss, since that is my dating sim day. And then Thursday, I'm still deciding if I want to start The Witcher or wait till the week after. we'll see how that goes. I will think about the schedule. But until then, we still have this upcoming Thursday. We'll continue more Side of the Abyss. Until then, please stay safe, stay healthy, drink your water, take your sippies, take your meds, and I will see you all next time. Thank you so much. Bye.